Drew McIntyre continued his crusade to save WrestleMania 40 tonight on Raw, but along the way took to the squared circle for a showdown with one man he has consistently blamed for him already not being the undisputed WWE Universal Champion. Main event Jey Uso. The Scottish Warrior battled Jey Uso in a blockbuster main event match to cap off a show that also included the culmination to another rivalry. This one between the man Becky Lynch and Nia Jax, who emerged from these two matches victoriously and with momentum on their sides ahead of the biggest show of the year. And what other happenings had direct WrestleMania implications? Find out now with this recap of Monday Night Raw, for this is Ridiculously Raw. Welcome, everybody, to Ridiculously Raw, the most must-see show on YouTube and StreamYard.com today. I am your host, Anthony Florio, and back with us tonight, good old MF, Michael Fletcher. Great to have you back, MF. We're gonna get to
Great to have you back, Fletch.
Here. And of course, in addition to MF, we also have the Phenom, Michael Bullock. Of course, Bullock and I fresh off another one of our legendary Monday Night Raw chats as always. And yes, we're gonna do things. Here's how we're gonna do it tonight. We're only gonna focus on Monday Night Raw and my special Tony's take this evening. AEW Revolution review will be a part of Wednesday Night Madness coming up on Wednesday night, in addition to NXT and AEW. We'll have more on that at the end of the show. But for right now, gentlemen, let's dive on in. Monday Night Raw, live tonight from the newly named Frostbank Center, formerly the AT&T Center, San Antonio, Texas, or as I call it, San Antone, the home of the five-time NBA champion San Antonio Spurs. And we started it off with an in-ring segment. The American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes, and the World Heavyweight Champion, Seth freaking Rollins. Nothing left to say here. This was the segment of the night, no question about it. Cody Rhodes and Seth freaking Rollins are coming to SmackDown Friday night to confront The Rock and the undisputed Universal Champion Roman Reigns. They revealed at the top of tonight's show. Not before Seth Rollins revealed a new nickname for the Great One, though, dubbing Rock Diarrhea Dwayne. He cited his long-winded promos and childish insults. He claimed that ending the bloodline is the biggest thing he and the American Nightmare can do at WrestleMania 40 in Philadelphia. This was an energetic promo to kick off the show, even if there was not nearly as much accomplished as other segments involving Cody and Seth to this point in the build to WrestleMania. Expect fireworks Friday night on SmackDown, though, as all four superstars are in the same arena at the same time for the first time since the WrestleMania kickoff event in Las Vegas last month. Cody warned Rock, don't ever talk about my dog. Beautiful dog, Pharaoh, beautiful dog. Cody Rhodes hesitated to call Rollins his friend, but ultimately did. And Seth said, Rock, I dare you to try. Rollins said in response to the Great One threatening to make the World Heavyweight Championship disappear. There's no question about it. This was the segment of the night. Of course, we all know how it stemmed this past Friday night. The Rock with that unbelievable counter offer. And I would love to pick MF's brain and get his thoughts about that counter offer since he wasn't with us on the last show. But nonetheless, we know how it is. Rock made the counter offer. Tag team match. Rock and Roman Reigns versus Cody Rhodes and Seth Rollins. Night one of WrestleMania. Cody and Seth win. Cody gets Roman one-on-one. No bloodline interference. All bloodline members barred. No Rock, no Jimmy, no Solo, no Heyman, and no Rock. But if The Rock and Roman win, then Cody Rhodes will literally be in for the fight of his life. Cody versus Roman, bloodline rules, anything goes. Great promo by Cody and Seth here, but Friday night, that's going to be money. That is going to be money. That's all I'm going to say. That's going to be appointment television come Dallas Friday night. So much more to say. Segment of the night here, no doubt about it. Good old MF, Michael Fletcher. Welcome back, MF. I know last week was a rough week for you. Great to have you back. I'm glad you're doing much better now. And before we get your thoughts on the segment there, I'm very curious. So, what did you think about The Rock's counter offer last Friday night?
It definitely wasn't a major surprise. I know there was some rumors about maybe that we would get some kind of tag team fight on night one of WrestleMania, and the counter offer was expected. Uh, I don't think the stipulations were expected, but Rock and Roman versus Cody and Seth at night one of WrestleMania, that was a very interesting development, and I think the fans are going to be very excited for that match to officially go down on night one. Night two, though, that means is that guys like Roman, Cody, and now Seth are going to be pulling double duty. That means on night two, there's a now we're guaranteed the World Heavyweight title and the WWE Universal title both to be on the line at the same night. That's going to be massive, to say the very least. So, to say that this is going to be a very interesting development and exciting is without a doubt. That's exactly what it's going to be. So, what are we going to get on Friday in Dallas? Who knows? But one thing is for sure, I'm excited. I'm all for it. And the segment needed to be that, just to whet our appetite, and that's exactly what it did. It whetted our appetite. Uh, One thing you didn't notice, Anthony Floyer, one thing you conveniently left out, Seth Rollins is clear to fight. He's now been medically cleared. He's good to go for
My apologies,
WrestleMania.
Yes,
You totally bypassed that.
I'm excited about that
Soldier,
match,
the frontline soldier on Monday Night Raw, your world heavyweight champion, Seth freaking Rollins,
Oh my god!
and you're not the one to talk about that. It has to be me, the SmackDown guy. Are you kidding me?
Oh, you're back, baby. You're back, baby.
Is it good to have Fletch back when he's like this? Oh boy.
Hype man.
Oh man.
We missed that Friday night.
Yes.
Well, the thing is that this is really not really hype man. It was kind of more like Cerebral Viper, but Jesus Christ. But anyway, at the end of the day, it was exactly what it needed to be. This was a good promo segment. It was very good for the most part. Yes, I know some people are going to be like, do we really need more? Can we just get to the battle? Yeah, I know there's a lot of excitement, everything else. We're 33 nights away from WrestleMania. I mean, that's we just gotta keep going. We just gotta get there. We're gonna get there eventually. It's just, I know this road's been a long one. This has been crazier than usual. But at the end of the day, it was fine for what it was worth. I can't wait for Friday. I think that's the key. Everybody's now excited for Friday night to see what we're gonna get. Nothing more to say. Michael Bullock, it's yours.
Well, like you said, I mean, I think this was definitely a good promo, and yeah, I mean, basically, yeah, Cody Rhodes told The Rock not to say anything bad about his dog, which obviously he did. And basically, well, I think he forgot some other things that he said Friday night. Well, that The Rock said that Phoenix was the home of like cocaine and meth, and that rubbed some people the wrong way, and so much so that Kayla Braxton actually apologized on behalf of The Rock. So that was pretty interesting. But yeah, like you said, the other big story, Seth freaking Rollins is 100% medically cleared. And that was just great to hear because when we first heard of the injury, all three of us were concerned about his status for WrestleMania. But
not knowing
now,
that CM Punk ultimately was going to be the one that got affected.
yeah, who would have thought that? I mean, we were all worried about Seth Rollins, and in the end, it was CM Punk that was the one that ultimately got affected big time. So, and like you said, now all three of them, I mean, Cody, Seth, and Roman will be pulling double duty. So I know people were probably like, oh, why couldn't they just the challenge tonight? But
Nah,
hold on. You gotta.
I was gonna say,
hey, Chad,
yep.
We're gonna get it Friday night because
Yeah.
they want to do this as Vince McMahon once said from WrestleMania 6 or no WrestleMania 7. Face to face.
Yep.
That's what they
The
want to do it.
The other thing is that you also want to protect Seth Rollins because Rollins, you don't know if there's going to be ring rust on Rollins. Plus, this is going to be the first real action Rollins is going to have. Yes, he's been cutting promos. Yes, he's been rehabbing, and that's the bigger thing is that he didn't have to go under the knife to do any surgery. It's all rehab. It was all just he's letting the muscle, letting the body relax and kind of heal himself. And fortunately enough, the injury itself was not severe enough that surgery was required that would have knocked him out of WrestleMania. So he was actually
that's the key thing because if he had gotten surgery, he would have been out of WrestleMania.
Yeah. So I know if you're a WWE fan, this was very reminiscent of 33 for Seth Rollins. Rollins got hurt, but did not need surgery. He needed the rehab, needed the time off, and there was even fear that he wasn't going to be able to make the 33 fight against Triple H in Orlando at the Citrus Bowl, but he was able to make it. He fought and won. That's the belief or the hope. This time around, going to Lincoln Financial, however, even all the prognosticators right now have Drew McIntyre winning at WrestleMania.
And getting back to, and when it comes to this, I mean, and here's something that Seth Rollins said during that segment. He said that this is more important than the World Heavyweight title match themselves. This is more important than Drew McIntyre because
that might be a mistake. That might be a mistake.
And he said, I'm the one that created Roman Reigns. I just never would have thought that he would become the monster that he is. So he feels like he needs to help Cody Rhodes finish off this, not only finish his story, but put an end to the threat that is the bloodline. And Fletch, you're hearing this, and I told Florio about this. As much, I mean, and I originally thought that when this match becomes official, that Cody and Seth were going to go over, but I think The Rock and Roman are going to go over. And the reason why, I think it's going to be Drew McIntyre. And I think that's the wild card because Drew McIntyre is probably pissed that Seth Rollins is focusing more on this whole bloodline thing than Drew himself.
And another reason, Bullock, for that, like I told you Friday night, why I have Rock and Roman going over, not just Drew McIntyre, but let's also not forget, if you want to have Cody finish the story at WrestleMania 40, could you imagine, MF, him finishing the story, overcoming the most ridiculous odds ever thrown at a guy?
Yeah.
Think about it.
And that's the other kicker is that it's gonna be those odds that he's gonna have to deal with
Rocky Balboa.
because if
This is gonna feel like a 5-on-1 handicap match if this happens.
it
Because-
might, but the thing is that at a certain point, at a certain degree, there's gonna be a moment where Roman's gonna make a mistake and might offend the bloodline, meaning The Rock.
Especially The Rock.
And that's the moment where The Rock will show his true colors.
Because you've noticed people, the way he
Yeah.
does the finger up, he basically has his
There's
thumb down.
there's kind of like a little bit of an L, and he kind of does. And the
Yes.
thing is, Heyman caught on to it. You notice Heyman caught it, and Heyman kind of has a look at The Rock of a little bit of some disdain, like,
Like,
I don't think you're one of us. Like, I think you got a hidden agenda, Rock. What's your angle? How about
the only
yeah?
the thing is, Paul Heyman may notice, but the tribal chief doesn't.
And we got more on Heyman later.
Oh yeah,
And that could be the thing that could be the downfall, the finally the downfall that we expect from the tribal chief.
Gonna be interesting. So
That's going to be interesting, and it's also going to be interesting Friday night when this face to face finally happens and that we make this match official. So
my God.
great segment. Both Cody and Seth played their parts really well. So
Yes.
nothing more for me to say except let's move on to our first match of the night.
Well, if I was gonna be, a funny ha kind of guy, I would have put on the tickets to tonight's show, see an idiot get pounded, because an idiot got pounded here tonight. Intercontinental Heavyweight Champion Gunther, the Ring General, 1-on-1 with the Judgment Day's Dominic Mysterio. Gunther wins the match, 9 minutes and 20 seconds. And we got another, spoiler alert, a great show as we continue what I still believe, and these guys now know it, what I've been preaching these last several weeks. The best build, the best road to WrestleMania build of all time. Newsworthy announcement regarding Gunther and the Intercontinental Heavyweight Championship when it comes to him defending it at WrestleMania 40. Next Monday night, per General Manager Adam Pearce, we are going to have a 6-man gauntlet match. Ricochet, Sami Zayn, Chad Gable, Shinsuke Nakamura, Big Bronson Reed, JD McDonough. The winner of that gauntlet match will challenge Gunther for the Intercontinental Heavyweight Championship at WrestleMania 40. MF, Gunther defeats Dominic, 9:20. I swear I can still hear those chops from where I am right now. My God, they were so vicious, but I mean, no surprise about the match, but how about that edict laid down by Adam Pearce, that big gauntlet to determine who faces Gunther at Mania?
There's two guys right now, right out of the gate, that I think could win this. Chad Gable and Sami Zayn. Those
Bingo.
are the two right now. Those are the two right now that I gotta say that are like the odds-on favorites to win that match and to get the shot at the title. Obviously, I would like to see it be Master Gable because I think Master Gable was the closest to winning the Intercontinental title during Gunther's greatest run ever. And the thing is, Master Gable has that story about how Gunther made his daughter cry after he failed to win the Intercontinental title. in his his hometown, if you remember. And so I could see Gunther and Gable one more time for the title because, as you notice, Gable was more focused, more in time, more, he's not the funny ha ha Master Gable of the Alpha Academy anymore. He wants that belt and he wants to rewrite that wrong. You know, it quote unquote finishing his story to the Intercontinental title. So, and then of course, Sami Zayn just looking for an opportunity to get back at WrestleMania to try to relive one of his biggest glories that went down 1 year ago when he won the undisputed WWE Tag Team titles in the main event of night 1 of WrestleMania a year ago at SoFi in LA. So, I mean, those would be the two that I would think. As far as the match goes tonight, 2.5 to 3, solid match, good battle, but the outcome was never in doubt. So, Michael Bullock, I'll give it to you.
When I first heard of this match, I was originally thinking, yeah, Dominic is going to get squashed by Gunther. And quite frankly, this is like the one time I wouldn't mind a squash match just to see Dominic get his comeuppance for all the trash talking, all the bragging, all that jazz. But this matchup turned out to be better than expected. So yeah, 2.5 stars for me. And yeah, when it comes to the Intercontinental Championship, I'm with Fletch on this one. I think the two that really stand out when it comes to who I think is going to come out of this, it comes down to Sami Zayn and Chad Gable. I mean, Sami Zayn, he's talking about his path to WrestleMania. We've seen the stories. But Chad Gable, I mean, he's not been the funny haha guy. He's more serious. And because he has that thought of when Gunther made his daughter cry. So those are the two that I could see coming out of it. So we'll have to wait and see how it goes. So 2.5 for me. It's yours, Florio.
Yeah, solid 3 for me. I'm with you guys. Chad Gable, Sami Zayn, the 2 odds-on favorites when it comes to that big gauntlet match next Monday night in Houston. But as far as what happened here tonight, this went about as well as expected, with Gunther overwhelming Dum Dum with his arsenal of strikes, chopping the air out of his opponent. The most despised man in WWE mounted a comeback and was quite impressive as, fighting from underneath. But Gunther cut him down, delivered a powerbomb, and tapped him out with the Boston Crab for the win. As a one-off showdown between 2 heels, this was executed well and added a little bit of heat to the T's Judgment Day Imperium feud. We'll have more on that in a little bit from last week. And it also showcased the growth and evolution of Dominic, something the young competitor still does not get enough credit for. During this match, Michael Cole congratulated Sting on his retirement last night without mentioning the company for which he competed. And then Pat McAfee put over that main event from last night's AEW Revolution pay-per-view just in time for Cole to divert attention back to the match in the ring. Gunther tore Dom's gear and chopped him, turning him inside out. And Dominic is so hated that fans did not react as strongly as they may have otherwise, but solid 3 for me. So moving on to the crowded women's tag team title picture. We had former champions in their own right, MF's girls, Kaden Carter and Katana Chance. They squared off against Zoe Stark and Shayna Baszler. And Shayna Baszler and Zoe Stark winning the match 6 minutes and 20 seconds. And Michael Bullock next Monday night on Raw, Shayna Baszler and Zoe Stark are going to get their opportunity as they will challenge Asuka and Kairi Sane for those WWE Women's Tag Team Championships next Monday night, provided, of course, that the Kabuki Warriors get by Lyra Valkyria and Tatum Paxley tomorrow night on NXT Roadblock.
Yeah, as far as this match goes, I give this about 2.5. I mean, to me, the outcome was never in doubt here. I mean, I think they wanted to push Shayna Baszler and Zoe Stark as the next challengers to the Kabuki Warriors, but like you said, that all depends on what happens on tomorrow night's NXT Roadblock, because the Kabuki Warriors have to defend their titles against the current NXT Women's Champion Lyra Valkyria and Tatum Paxley. So we'll see how that goes. But yeah, so looking forward to see what happens next week with that. But I think, to me, in all indications, no matter what happens tomorrow night or next week, I think both nights I see the Kabuki Warriors retaining the titles. With, I think, probably a little help from the women's champion Io Sky and the once again heel turned Dakota Kai. But watch out for Bayley, because she might have a say in it because of her feud now with Damage Control, especially with her eye on Io Sky and the women's championship. So nothing more to say. It's yours, Florio.
2.5 for me. Shayna Baszler and Zoe Stark inched one step closer to a shot at the Women's Tag Team Championship tonight when they defeated Katana Chance and Kaden Carter in a competitive, albeit short match. And late, the former champs appeared to have the win in hand until Baszler broke up the pin, and from there, the heels earned a pivotal win for their championship aspirations. After the match, Dakota Kai, WWE Women's Champion Io Sky, and the Tag Team Champions, the Kabuki Warriors, entered the ring. Kai said that after Asuka and Kairi successfully defend tomorrow night, they will defend against Baszler and Stark next Monday night in Houston. Baszler and Stark versus Asuka and Zayn is a potential show stealer if it is given enough time. The only downer? The lack of expectation that the new number one contenders will actually dethrone the champs. Damage Control joined Michael Cole and Pat McAfee at the ringside announce table, getting a close look at potential challengers, perhaps to their Women's Tag Team Championship at WrestleMania 40. Carter and Chance broke out a double Spanish fly off the ropes for a near fall. And Carter and Chance have the most tag team chemistry of any team in the division, this side of the tag team champions. Solid 2.5 stars for this, so not much more to say. MF, next Monday night, provided, of course, that the Kabuki Warriors get by tomorrow, they will have to face Shayna Baszler and Zoe Stark for the titles next week in Houston.
Yeah, and I think that it will be a successful title defense, both fronts. So it was still a good battle, still a good fight. 2.5 to 3, absolutely right. And Anthony, I give it back to you.
All right, MF, and we move on. All right, one of the first of our two big main events, Becky Lynch squaring off against Nia Jax. Nia Jax wins the match via disqualification, 10 minutes and 55 seconds, due to outside interference from Liv Morgan. Okay. The intense rivalry between Becky Lynch and Nia Jax wrote another chapter tonight in a competitive match that saw the Irresistible Force attempt to halt the man's momentum ahead of her WrestleMania 40 match against Rhea Ripley for the Women's World Championship. Before a finish could be rendered, though, Liv Morgan made her presence felt, drawing a disqualification by attacking Nia Jax. From there, she confronted Becky, and the two appeared ready to throw down, but Nia Jax took out both and stood tall to close out the segment. The money match for WrestleMania 40 on the women's side is Becky Lynch versus Rhea Ripley. But one cannot help but notice that WWE has kept Liv Morgan and Nia Jax as integral parts of this story. A backstage encounter between Becky Lynch and Liv Morgan after this match set up a match between the two of them next week in Houston. But interference there should be expected also. This now begs the question, is there a chance WWE pivots and books a fatal four-way match that allows all story threads to come together in one high-stakes battle?
No, Hunter.
To be honest with you, I hope not.
No, Hunter. Don't do it, bro.
Yeah,
please don't do it.
Yeah, you can make it 3 for 3. Don't pull the trigger on this, because you've been hyping Becky Lynch versus Rhea Ripley. And to put Liv Morgan and Nia Jax in it would be pointless, unnecessary, unacceptable, inexcusable, and it would just take away from the build, especially after what we saw when we first saw Becky and Rhea face to face at that WrestleMania kickoff event in Las Vegas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And just imagine the sheer excitement of that from the fans when we saw Becky and Rhea, and then that interaction in the ring between the two women. I mean, I really hope they don't go down this route, because the thing is, I get it. WrestleMania, you want to get everybody involved as much as you can, but there's certain matches and certain moments that deserves one-on-one encounters.
Amen.
And this is the match.
This is one of them.
Amen.
Rhea Ripley, Becky Lynch is a main event match anywhere in the world. Anywhere in the world. This is a main event fight.
Yeah.
You don't need it. You don't need Liv. You don't need Nia. Not this time.
Especially
Nia already had her opportunity in Australia. She already had her chance.
And she blew it.
Why in the world would you possibly give her another chance? And I get it. Liv Morgan, it's all about this Liv Morgan revenge tour because of Rhea Ripley. But you can do these two somewhere down the line where it doesn't involve the Women's World Championship.
Yes.
So
I'm telling you, if Hunter goes down this route, then watch out. I will indeed go off.
This will be one of his, and there's not that many times, and everybody knows there's not been many times where we've openly criticized Triple H's booking decisions. This might be one of the rare times we might have to attack him. And I am never, ever, ever wanting to do that, because this is my guy. This is my guy.
It's your guy. And
this is the cerebral assassin.
It's the rarest of times, Fletch. There are rare times you go off on your guy. But
yes.
if he pulls this off, then
I'm going to be forced. I might be forced. Yeah. I might be forced, because
and you would be saying, Hunter, you made me do this. You decided to draw the line.
Yep.
So Triple H. So basically, Triple H, the message from the three of us: do not. I repeat, do not go in this direction and put Nia Jax and Liv Morgan in this. Becky and Rhea it could main event anywhere else. And these two are perfect for WrestleMania. I mean, if you put Nia and Liv in there, it just takes everything away from the build they had with Rhea and Becky Lynch.
That's exactly right.
It takes everything away. So do not, I repeat, do not screw this up. Or you're going to have three guys here that are going to be coming after you. And it's not going to be pretty.
Oh, no. Not at all. Nia wins the match in 10:55 via disqualification. Pat McAfee said on commentary, momentum is a real thing, even if some stats nerd says it's not. Nia delivered a hell of a leg drop from the middle rope on Becky, but Becky kicked out at 2. Say what you want about Nia Jax, and I'm not a big fan of her. Michael Bullock is not a big fan either. But from a professional standpoint, not a personal one, but a professional one, this may be the best version of Nia Jax we have ever seen. She is as motivated as ever, and her chemistry with just about every opponent she has worked with has been undeniable. this was headed toward being a strong match before the finish, and her performance is a big reason why. This is one of the rare times I think we should waive the NA rule on this one. I mean, we could easily give this an NA, but I'm going to give this about 3 to 3.25 for the effort here. So, not much to say that hasn't already been said. So MF, Nia Jax wins the match via disqualification, 10:55. Liv Morgan interferes. Becky Lynch, Liv Morgan, one-on-one in Houston next week.
Yeah, and that could also end up with the dusty finish, like you said, Anthony, and you alluded to it earlier. 3 stars for me. Great matchup, good battle, and again, one thing that you mentioned, and I think I even mentioned it after the Chamber recap, was the fact that this has been Nia Jax's personal best. That she's been like you said, she's been more focused. She's been more amazing. She looks more solid in the ring. And the thing is, she's not looking like even more more careful with the movesets that she does. Try not to hurt anybody either. Where back then, Nia was very erratic in her performance, and that there was some mistakes made that led to injuries. So, and she was also being labeled as an unsafe worker, where now there has not been that issue. She has looked amazing, and there's really nothing more to add. Bullock, welcome back. 3 stars for me. It's yours.
Yeah, 3 stars for me as well. I mean, it was a good match until the clunky finish, but yeah, I pretty much said what I just said moments ago regarding the match at WrestleMania, where it doesn't need Nia and Liv, so I don't need to dive further. So let's move on, Florio.
Well, believe it or not, we actually have a cutout here. Andrade making his Monday Night Raw debut, going up against someone we haven't seen in a while, Apollo. Apollo Crews. Yes, where's he been lately? Andrade defeating Apollo Crews, 3 minutes and 25 seconds. You know what it was. It was a showcase for Andrade. Andrade returned to the squared circle for the first time since his surprise appearance in the Royal Rumble, squaring off with Apollo Crews in what amounted to an extended showcase for El Idolo. Second-generation star earned the win with La Sombra, a modified hammerlock DDT. There was not much substance to the match, as Crews has been a non-factor on Monday nights for months, but it did get Andrade back out in front of fans with a strong win, so there's that. More interesting than any extended squash match is in what manner the mutual respect between him and Dominic Mysterio ultimately manifests itself. All right, so with that being said, we move on to all right, and then they made the big announcement about the gauntlet for next week. Undisputed tag team champions Finn Balor, Damian Priest squaring off against Imperium's Ludwig Kaiser and Giovanni Vinci. Damian Priest, Finn Balor win the match, 14 minutes and 15 seconds. MF, the champions, getting one over here. Damian Priest with the South of Heaven to win it. And Priest and Balor over Kaiser and Vinci, 14-15.
Yeah, great matchup. I could say about 3.5 stars. 3 to 3.5 to 3 3/4. Solid matchup, good battle. Another fight of the night candidate if you want to make it. And yeah, it was a very solid matchup. But the outcome was never in doubt. This is one of those times where you want to make the champions look strong, even though it was a non-title fight. It's still good to see that in this iteration of WWE, that even in non-title fights, the champions are looking strong and is getting the job done. Valiant effort by Giovanni Vinci and Ludwig Kaiser, but when you got Senor Mr. Money in the Bank, Damian Priest, and Finn Balor out there, this was a solid matchup. So nothing more to say. Bullock, it's yours.
Yeah, I'll give it about 3.5 stars as well. I mean, yeah, good match here. I mean, obviously, like you said, you want to keep the champs strong as they head into WrestleMania. So, and also to keep, especially senior Money in the Bank. So, yeah, so there's really nothing more for me to add on to it. So, it's yours, Florio.
3.5 to 3.75 of a star for this matchup here. You can certainly make an argument for Fight of the Night honors here. Undisputed tag team champions Finn Balor and Damian Priest of the Judgment Day continued their recent streak of success, defeating Imperiums, Giovanni Vinci, and Ludwig Kaiser in a fun quality match tonight. This was a well-worked match that saw the champions score a rare clean victory and continue their reign as champions. There was no sign of R-Truth or The Miz this week, or should I say up until that point, but they did meet up in a backstage segment, and Miz said, we got to take their tag team titles. So, wink, wink. I think we know where that's leading. So, the victors were allowed to celebrate their victory accordingly without any hijinks. The commentary team put over Finn Balor's championship resume more than once here. Could there be a conscious effort to heat him up amid expectations that there may be a split incoming for the Judgment Day? Damian Priest showed great babyface fire in the closing of the bout and had fans solidly behind the tag team champions in the battle of heel teams. And Ludwig Kaiser appeared to have possibly injured his foot late in the match, clutching it after coming down awkwardly off the apron. Definitely have to keep an eye on that. This was 3.5 to 3.75 of a star. We're going to put the review on hold for just a moment because after this match was over, WWE acknowledged the big news of the day. We finally have our first inductee for the WWE Hall of Fame class of 2024, and it's none other than the wise man himself, Paul Heyman. Paul Heyman will take his rightful place in the WWE Hall of Fame class of 2024. No big surprise. I mean, considering that, it's a lot of reasons. First and foremost, the events in Philadelphia. The founder of ECW, the man who gave us ECW. And I know nobody is going to have more to say about that than good old MF Michael Fletcher when we get to him. Because we all know MF, diehard ECW guy, especially the old days. Of course, we all remember he started as Paulie Dangerously in NWA/WCW in the late 80s and early 90s. You know, just bear with me here. We just want to, of course, we know the statement that was released earlier this afternoon. Michael Bullock first reported it. He sent it to us in our messenger chat a little after, right around lunchtime today. And as first reported by the Associated Press, Paul Heyman will be inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame class of 2024. He first gained enemies under the geese of Paulie Dangerously in WCW, managing Steve Austin, Arn Anderson, and Ravishing Rick Rude in a stable he dubbed the Dangerous Alliance. Heyman used a Big Apple attitude and an oversized 1980s cell phone to help his charges run through the likes of Sting and Ricky the Dragon Steamboat. After WCW released him in 1993, Heyman found an opportunity in failure, turning a modest Philadelphia-based independent promotion called Eastern Championship Wrestling into the notoriously daring Extreme Championship Wrestling. Inspired by alternative rock music and MTV, the innovator took ECW from public access to national pay-per-view by endorsing brutal bouts, showcasing the rare combination of misfit warriors alongside cutting-edge athletes. Created with inspiring WWE's landmark Attitude Era, the controversial brand became the third largest wrestling company in the world, before it was crippled by financial problems in 2001. Paul Heyman then joined WWE as good old JR, Jim Ross's broadcast partner. But it wouldn't be long before the nonconformists of ECW reemerged in WWE as part of the infamous Invasion. Aligning himself with Stephanie and Shane McMahon, Heyman came frighteningly close to overthrowing WWE, but ultimately failed to bring down his competition. Time and again, however, Heyman was able to find his way back in, forming alliances with superstars like CM Punk, Brock Lesnar, The Big Show, and Kurt Angle. Since the summer of 2020, Heyman has been firmly entrenched as the special counsel to undisputed WWE Universal Champion Roman Reigns, where he lends his opinion and uses his outspoken nature to advise one of the most impressive title reigns in WWE history. Heyman's influence on sports entertainment has become immeasurable, as his brash, in-your-face attitude has paved the way for multiple generations of managers and superstars. With a resume that is unmatched, Paul Heyman now takes his rightful place in the WWE Hall of Fame. Obviously not a wrestler, but he does have accomplishments. Inside the Ropes magazine named him Manager of the Year in 2020. The New York Post named him Manager of the Year each of the last 2 years, 2022 and 2023. PWI Manager of the Year in 1992, and then won another award in 2022 as a member of the Bloodline when the Bloodline was awarded Faction of the Year. Wrestling Observer Newsletter Feud of the Year in 2023 as part of the Bloodline versus Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. 1991, he was named Best Color Commentator. 5 times he won the Best Booker Award. He won 4 straight years from 1994 to 1997, and then again in 2002. 2013 to 14, Best on Interviews. He won Best Non-Wrestler a gazillion times. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 10-time winner of the Best Non-Wrestler Award. 2001, 2002, 2004. He won 3 straight years from 2012 to 2014. And then again in 2018, 2019, 2021, and 2022. Best Non-Wrestler of the Decade, 2010s. Best on Interviews of the Decade in 2010s. He did have one infamous award, though. Most Disgusting Promotional Tactic in 2012 in an angle with CM Punk exploiting Jerry the King Lawler's real-life heart attack, playing footage of him near death. And then, of course, was inducted into the Wrestling Observer Newsletter Hall of Fame in 2005. And then in WWE, won a WWE Year-End Award, Best on the Mic in 2018. And now taking his rightful place in the WWE Hall of Fame class of 2024. One of the greatest promos, one of the greatest talkers, and without a doubt, you have to put him up there. You have to put him up as one of the greatest managers, if not the greatest manager in the history of professional wrestling. I know there's a lot of great names. Names like Bobby the Brain Heenan, the Mouth of the South, Jimmy Hart, Paul Bearer, Miss Elizabeth, Slick. The list goes on. Mr. Fuji, you name it. Heyman was the best when it comes to managing. I mean, you heard all those names I just dropped. One of the most, of course, you say what you want about Brock Lesnar nowadays, but the success he had with Brock Lesnar when he brought Brock Lesnar into WWE in 2002, the night after WrestleMania 18, the next big thing, and what he's doing nowadays with Roman Reigns. I mean, he's been at this a very long time. He's been doing this for 45 years. He got into wrestling when he was 13 years old. And one of the greatest wrestling minds, one of the greatest creative minds, and one of the greatest talkers. I mean, anytime you put a microphone in that man's hand, and anytime that man spoke, we all listened. And, of course, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Paul Heyman. We still love that shtick. I mean, whether it was with Brock Lesnar or Roman Reigns, I mean, you gotta love the shtick. And no surprise. A lot of dirt sheets, were rumoring about Heyman going in, and it's only fitting that you do it in Philadelphia, which was the heartbeat of ECW. And I don't know what else there is to say that hasn't been said. So, congratulations, Paul Heyman, on behalf of all of us here at Talking Wrestling TXN. Well deserved. And of course, it begs the question: who's going to induct him? I think if Brock Lesnar hadn't gotten into the trouble he got himself into, I think you very easily could have had Brock Lesnar do it. But now that Lesnar is out, two names that came to mind: Roman Reigns and CM Punk. Let's not forget, CM Punk wouldn't be where he is today if not for Paul Heyman. WWE management thought nothing of CM Punk, but Paul Heyman literally went to bat for him. And it's safe to say, if not for Paul Heyman, CM Punk would not be who he is today. That's some food for thought for all of you. And here's an interesting fact before I give it off here. Paul Heyman wanted CM Punk to win that infamous Extreme Elimination Chamber match at the December to Dismember pay-per-view in 2006, but management shot him down flat. And that's why they wanted to put Bobby Lashley over. And that's why Bobby Lashley won that thing. But Heyman wanted Punk. And that just goes to show you how much Paul Heyman thought of CM Punk. He's the only one who saw something in CM Punk when Mick Pervert and the rest of the suits didn't. So that's an unbelievable story that I wanted to share. So with all that, like I said, on behalf of all of us here at Talking Wrestling TXN, congratulations to the wise man, the special counsel, Paul Heyman, Paulie Dangerously. Well-deserved honor. And him with a live microphone at the Hall of Fame ceremony on April 5th. Oh my. And I am going to mark if he somehow breaks out that legendary cell phone of his, that 1980s cell phone. He breaks that out. Oh boy, that's going to draw a pop. And there's going to be a lot of EC Dub, EC Dub, EC Dub. There's going to be a lot of EC Dub chants, no doubt about it. So, congratulations, Mr. Heyman. Well-deserved. And I, for one, cannot wait to hear what I know is going to be an amazing speech and an epic speech coming up at the induction next month. So, not much more to say. Good old MF Michael Fletcher. You're an old-school ECW guy. And the old ECW way better than myself and Michael Bullock combined. But nonetheless, what a moment. Paul Heyman, the first inductee into the WWE Hall of Fame class of 2024. So with that being said, gentlemen, I'm just gonna open forum, and whoever wants it next, it's yours. Paul Heyman, Hall of Famer, 2024.
Yeah, it's the thing is, like you said, he's definitely one of the greatest managers in professional wrestling. All the names that you mentioned. I'm not even going to bother because you already mentioned some of it, but also for making ECW what it was. From all those hallowed halls, the small arenas. Making ECW what it is, and of course being part of one of the greatest factions right now, the Bloodline. So yeah, Florio pretty much said everything. So yeah, congratulations to Paul Heyman. The first inductee into the WWE Hall of Fame. So like you said, it begs the question of who's going to induct him. So many names I could think of, but we'll have to wait and see. So Fletch, any thoughts on it? Since you are the big follower of ECW and you know everything about Paul Heyman.
I think MF may have stepped away for for a moment. So we'll await for him to come back, and we'll get his thoughts on Paul Heyman's Hall of Fame induction ceremony. Well deserved, to say the very least. So with all that being said, let's dive on into our next match, which was Sami Zayn squaring off against Ivar of the Viking Raiders. Sami Zayn wins the match in an even 11 minutes. All right, Michael Bullock, why don't you take this one for a spin here? Sami Zayn defeating Ivar in an even 11 minutes.
I'll give this about 3.25 on this one. I thought this was a really good match. I mean, yeah, the outcome was never in doubt because obviously you want to give Sami Zayn some momentum going into that big gauntlet match next week. But then afterwards, Bronson Reed with an attack, and then he hit the tsunami on him. So basically saying that he's the one that's going to win and face Gunther. So, yeah, so we'll see what happens. So, nothing more to say. It's yours, Florio.
Sami Zayn earned another quality win on his road to WrestleMania 40, defeating Ivar in a great match that highlighted both evenly and reminded the audience of the underrated run the Viking Raider has been on over the last 6 months or so. Like Bullock said, Big Bronson Reed attacked Sami Zayn and delivered the tsunami, sending a message to the rest of the field involved in next Monday's gauntlet match to determine the number one contender to Gunther's Intercontinental Heavyweight Championship at WrestleMania. Speaking of the Reign General, Chad Gable interrupted an interview Gunther was having with Kathy Kelly and vowed to win next week's match so that he could avenge his loss to Gunther by beating him and putting a smile on his daughter's face. The gauntlet match and the numerous stories at play within it make next Monday's show a can't-miss one. Add to that the wealth of talent involved, and we could very well have a candidate for WWE TV Match of the Year when all is said and done. Michael Cole's commitment to the Valhalla and her antler shtick is commendable. The manager joined him at the commentary position and placed her antlers on his head. Damn near broke social media. Ivar does not get nearly the credit he has earned for his solo work over the last handful of months. He has been superb, proving capable of working strong matches against competitors of varying backgrounds. He cut off a Helluva kick by Sami Zayn with a heel kick that was perfectly executed. Zayn delivered an exploder into the corner, but Ivar answered, again cutting off the Helluva kick with a seated senton out of the corner. 3 to 3.25 stars. That's my rating for the match. So, MF, if you're back in, let's get your thoughts on Sami Zayn defeating Ivar in an even 11 minutes. And we'll also... All right. Excuse me. All right. I think MF's still away. So we'll hopefully get his thoughts on this when we get the chance. But let's set the table for next Monday night. Big show in Houston. All right, and then all right, the main event, of course, next Monday night on Raw, Houston, Texas. Becky Lynch goes one-on-one with Liv Morgan. Asuka and Kairi Sane, the Kabuki Warriors, defend the women's tag team titles against Shayna Baszler and Zoe Stark. And, of course, the 6-man gauntlet match for the right to face Gunther at WrestleMania for the Intercontinental Heavyweight Championship. You know the 6 men. We'll dive more into it next week. Main event of the evening, Drew McIntyre squaring off against main event Jey Uso. Winner of the match, 16 minutes and 45 seconds. It was Drew McIntyre with a little help from the Bloodline yet again. Solo Sikoa with a distraction, but it was ultimately a distraction by Jimmy Uso. Cody Rhodes got involved. Seth freaking Rollins got involved. Total chaos at the end of it, but McIntyre wins in 16:45. Drew McIntyre dominated the bout early and often. His drive and determination to prove his worth to an audience that sees him as a bitter, sore loser. He succeeded for the most part, controlling the pace for 2/3 of the bout. Jey Uso, ever resilient, stayed in the bout and fired off a comeback later on. That is until Jimmy Uso appeared, distracted his twin brother, and allowed the Scottish Warrior to score the win with a Claymore. Just prior to the finish, Cody Rhodes hit the ring to fend off Solo. After the bell, Seth Rollins did so as well, blowing past Drew McIntyre as if he didn't even exist, and chased Jimmy out of the square circle. Like Jay had moments earlier, Rollins ate a Claymore as McIntyre again implored the fallen champion to rethink his vendetta against the Bloodline as the show went off the air. The match was good, if not a wee bit long, but the closing moments of the show were red hot, thus elevating the segment of the broadcast. We had the continuation of the Uso sibling rivalry, as well as the latest between Cody Rhodes, Seth Rollins, and the Bloodline, not to mention Drew McIntyre's quest to save WrestleMania and beat the World Heavyweight Champion and become the next World Heavyweight Champion. For a guy that has reportedly not re-signed with WWE, Drew McIntyre gets a lot of screen time. McIntyre hurled Uso over the announce table, entering the commercial break. The look on Drew's face as Rollins sprinted past him to fend off the Bloodline was one of setting anger. He was disrespected, and he expressed it. Excuse me. Solid 4 stars. This was the fight of the night for me. And, yeah, and it definitely makes Friday a lot more exciting. I'll say that for sure. So McIntyre winning the match, 16:45. So, MF. Okay, there's MF. All right, MF. We got to catch you up on a couple things. Paul Heyman being inducted into the Hall of Fame. Sami Zayn defeating Ivar in an even 11 minutes. And the main event, Drew McIntyre defeating Jey Uso, 16:45.
Yeah, no, this was great. First off, for Heyman, it's well deserved. It's a great honor for him, well deserved. Congratulations, Paul. The match for Sammy was good, about 2.5 to 3. Main event about 3.25 to 3.5. So all in all, great night. Nothing more to add. Bullock, is yours. Or Bullock, is yours. Yeah.
Yes, I started, so it goes to Bullock. Bullock?
Yeah, 4 stars for me on the main event. Yeah. Obviously, I mean, like you said, with everything that happened, I mean, obviously Seth Rollins ignoring Drew McIntyre, and obviously it looks like they're building Jimmy Uso against Jey Uso at WrestleMania. So, yeah, there's really nothing more to say. Overall thoughts time.
All right, good old MF Michael Fletcher. First, as we continue on the road to WrestleMania 40, Monday Night Raw tonight, San Antonio. MF, let's get your overall thoughts. Starting off.
7 to 7.5 out of 10. A solid show. Great build. WWE are cooking, man. They're hitting on all cylinders. The thing is, I think they might be overcooking, especially on the women's division. I'm getting a little nervous now. I think we might be on the verge of a catastrophe when it comes to Rhea versus Becky. I think we might lose it. I think we might get a couple of extra people at the table that probably doesn't deserve the spot, but it is what it is. But 7.5. Bullock, go.
Yeah, 7.5. Another solid show, and yeah, they're cooking. But yeah, when it comes to the women, like I said, I'm starting to worry about it. I really hope, and I've stated this earlier, I really hope Triple H doesn't go this route, because that women's world title match doesn't need any additions. It doesn't need Nia Jax. It doesn't need Liv Morgan. Because if you do that, like I said, it's just going to kill everything they built towards Becky against Rhea. So I said it before, and I'll say it again. Triple H, do not do this, or you're going to have 3 very angry members of Talking Wrestling TXN coming after you. And you also have the IWC coming after you. So if you're smart enough, and we know you are, let Becky and Rhea have at it 1-on-1. Period. End of quotation. End of statement. It's yours, Florio.
Amen to that, brother. This was another quality episode of Raw as WWE continues its road to WrestleMania 40 in Philadelphia. We got the latest out of the top feuds and superstars, most of which was good and logical, while the creative team also revealed a big gauntlet match for next week. To top it off, we saw fun matches pitting the Judgment Day against Imperium and another good match with Sami Zayn and Ivar. Logical story progression, fun in-ring work, and quality storytelling is quite literally the formula for success with regard to WWE television. We got all three in this broadcast, making it an easy thumbs up. I'm going to give it in excess of 7.5 to 8 for me. So another great show as we continue on what is without a doubt the best road to WrestleMania we've ever seen. Friday night in Dallas. That's all that needs to be said. Quick Tony's take here. This Friday night, TNA Plus presents another special. It's a TNA Sacrifice. It'll be live from St. Clair College in Windsor, Ontario, Canada, on TNA Plus exclusively. Only 6 matches are currently announced for the card. I reckon they're gonna add some matches to this probably Thursday night on Impact Wrestling, or TNA Impact rather. So, in no particular order, Nick Nemeth, formerly Dolph Ziggler, he's gonna go one-on-one with Steve Maclin. ABC, Chris Bay and Ace Austin will defend the TNA World Tag Team Championship against the System, Eddie Edwards and Brian Myers, with Alicia Edwards in their corner. Return match from the Hard to Kill pay-per-view in January. Josh Alexander goes one-on-one with TNA's newest signee. They made it official. Alexander Hammerstone is now officially signed with TNA Wrestling. So Alexander and Hammerstone, they're going to hammer it. They're going to run it back on Friday night. Chris Sabin, Kushida, and Kevin Knight, Time Machine, will be battling in a 6-man tag team match against the new X Division champion, Mustafa Ali, and the Good Hands, John Skyler and Jason Hotch. Jordan Grace will defend the TNA Knockouts Championship in a 3-way dance against Tasha Steelz and Zaya Brookside. And in the main event, Moose will defend the TNA World Heavyweight Championship against the challenger and former champion in his own right, Eric Young. I reckon more matches will be added this upcoming Thursday on Impact Wrestling. We'll keep an eye on that, and I'll have the results of the show next week. So that's it. So that'll put the ball on this edition of Ridiculously Raw. We want to thank you all so very much for tuning in as always. We will be back with you on Wednesday night for Wednesday Night Madness over on MF's channel, Racefan 95. Loaded show. We got AEW Revolution. We've also got NXT Roadblock, and we have the fallout from Revolution on AEW Dynamite. Not sure. And then Friday or Saturday, not sure which night it'll be, but there will be a Cerebral Smack Talk with Friday Night SmackDown. We might just go back to the regular formula of SmackDown and Collision, considering we don't have a pay-per-view. So we'll put our heads together and figure out that. But we do know Wednesday, that is definite. So that's it. And then, of course, next Monday night, we do it all again, Ridiculously Raw, Monday Night Raw, and I'll have the results of the TNA Sacrifice next week. So that's it. So until Wednesday night for Wednesday Night Madness, it's Anthony Florio here for good old MF Michael Fletcher. And, of course, in spirit, the Phenom Michael Bullock, and always and forever, the First Lady Dee Dee Woodson. You know the routine, everybody. Thumbs up. Talk to you later. Yeah. Throw the Fortune 4 style. Bye for now, my friends. God bless. Be good to each other. Have a blessed couple of days. And until Wednesday night for Wednesday Night Madness, you've been watching Ridiculously Raw right here on the Tone 25 on YouTube and Streamy.com. And remember, my friends, no matter what anyone tells you beyond anything else, wrestling is indeed actually real. For everybody who has been a part of this one, for now, Anthony Florio, so long, and bye, everybody, bye.